أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وإليك يعود السلام. فهينا ربنا بالسلام. يا سلام سلمنا أجمعين وجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين. اللهم يا Allah, on this glorious day, in conjunction with our talk, we uphold our hands to pray gratefully to thank on your infinite favor to us till we can live in peace and harmony to perform our task as your servant. O Allah, we ask your blessing to make this occasion in success. Allahumma ya hayyu ya qayyum ya dhal jalali wal ikram. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad al-Fatih lima ulik wal khatim lima sabaq nasril haqqi bil haqq wal hadi ila siratim mustaqim wa ala ali wa sahbihi haqqa qadrihi wa miqdarihi al-azim. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Brother Da'i. Now, without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Syakir Amir Abdul Rahman from Department of Urban and Regional Planning to give his input lecture. Please welcome.
Oh, that's fast. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good evening to all of you. So, welcome to this webinar. I would say it's a very short sessions or talk. Yeah. So, how are you with our Tunisia friends there? What time is it now in Tunisia? We have our friends here.
It's 8 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
It's
6 o'clock.
8.
Sorry, 8 o'clock.
8.
Morning or at night?
8. Yes,
8
morning.
pagi. Oh, it's 8 in the morning. Okay, all right. So have you had your breakfast, or you are having your breakfast right now, Sister Sarah?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, all right. So basically, Malaysians breakfast, we always eat a heavy breakfast. We always eat rice during our breakfast, and of course, if there's no rice, we eat noodles. If there's no noodles, we eat our roti canai. It's some sort like prata. It's a flour-based food. Yeah, it's a Indian cuisine. Yeah, roti canai. So that's basically it's a Malaysia types of cuisine, and of course, that is basically heritage. You know, that is something that food. Yeah, it's one of our
For
Malaysia
us,
property. Yeah. So
also we have for us also for breakfast we have an heritage food like psisa. It's like a mix of greens and we eat it with fruits,
okay.
and it's very nice.
So that's very healthy because there is a fruit there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks, Sarah. So I hope everyone you are in a safe or in the good conditions and healthy conditions. Yeah. So even though you are in Tunisia or you're in Malaysia, everyone should be in a safe positions. Yeah. We are not only talking about the healthy physical, but we also need to be healthy and strong in the sense of strong in a mindset. Our mental and also our spiritual as well need to be strong as well. You see. So with a global pandemic right now, it gives somehow affect our lifestyle. We should have learned about the new norms. Somehow I would say I am disagree with the new norms term. I would always use the new normal because it's a new normal routine. Yeah. Not in the old style of a normal routine, but I hope that we pray that we can go back or get back our old or previous normal days or normal routine, inshallah. So without further ado, as for today, I would like to allow me to share my slide presentation. Entire screen. Okay. Boleh nampak tak?
Yeah.
Nampak? Okay, all right. Okay, so firstly, I would like to say welcome to all of you, to all the participants, even though you are in Malaysia ke, Tunisia ke, welcome to the Malaysia-Tunisia Cultural Heritage Study, or basically known as a Match 2021 that is organized by the Department of Landscape Architecture, the Bachelor of Landscape Architecture second year, if I'm not wrong. It is a second year, students?
Third year.
Third year, okay, and also lead or advised by our both ladies, Dr. Haza and Dr. Hanis, these two great lecturers in the department. And thank you so much. I think this is somehow we have to look into a different side of the coins, in which even though it is a text from this global pandemic, somehow we could explore one of the best tools or best platform like this, a virtual platform for us to share our knowledge and share informations, even though we are in different countries. Yeah. So like that today is my long day. Actually, I start with my morning at 8:30. I have discussions with my friends in Japan 8:30, and then and I have a discussion at 10:30. It's a talk, a research talk. I think the kuliah and university have that organized it. And 11 o'clock, I continue with my discussions. And at 1 o'clock, I discuss with my postgraduate students that is in Kelantan. And then at 2:30, I have a short break, Alhamdulillah, for my prayer and also my little lunch. And now I'm standing and also sitting in the Tunisia, and of course, standing in the Tunisia campus. So I would say this is the hikmah in a platform. I mean, in a global pandemic right now, we in one snap, in one shot, we can standing or sitting in a different venues or different geography. You see, that's the hikmah. I think we have to grateful on that. And Alhamdulillah, I think this would be it's a good platform for us to share. And I would love, and I honored to be invited as a speaker, and with my little knowledge and little experience and little informations on this topic given to me, inshallah, I try my best to share and to give a short lecture input on this topic. Yeah. So before I start, I would love to introduce myself. So my name is Syakir Amir Rahman. So you may call me Syakir. So for my Tunisia friends, you can call me Syakir. And I'm from a Department of Urban and Regional Planning. And as you know, in our kuliah or in our faculty, we have, apart from a Department of Landscape Architecture, definitely we also have another 4 departments. We have a Department of Urban Regional Planning, we have a Department of Architecture, we have a Department of Quantity Surveying, and last but not least, we have a Department of Applied Arts and Design. And of course, and these departments offer a somehow interesting program in the bachelor. You see, you have a Bachelor of Landscape Architecture, Bachelor of Urban Planning, Architecture, Quantity Surveying, also Applied Arts. In fact, we also offer a postgraduate program as well. We have a Masters in Coursework, Masters in Mixed Mode, Masters in Research, as well as a postgrad or PhD in Research. So those are the programs that is offered by our faculty or our Kuliah of Architecture and Environmental Design. Yeah. So I think that Dr. Hazat and Dr. Hanis has mentioned or has explained to our Tunisia counterparts that our campus is located strategically in Kuala Lumpur. It's easy access with our LRT or monorail, yeah, our train, and quite a 10 minutes drive to Kuala Lumpur city centre or KLCC, a Twin Tower Petronas, you see. So as for today's topic given to me, it is regarding an interesting topic, Malacca UNESCO World Heritage Site, Challenges and Initiative. And before I start, I have to say that I'm originally from Malacca. I'm a Malacca boy. Even though I'm staying in Kuala Lumpur, but my parents now staying in Malacca. So my last visit to Malacca, to my hometown, was November last year. So it almost 1 year. Tak balik kampung lagi. I really miss my parents, definitely. I hope that this restrictions order or MCO can be lifted as soon as possible, so then I can cross the boundary of the state to go to Malacca and visit my parents, definitely. And of course, I think most of our friends here, we have also a similar problem or similar issues. Yeah, we cannot go back to our hometown. Of course, we miss our parents so much. Yeah, like my case, I think I'm a similar boat with Dr. Hanis, because we are the only child in the family. So I have to say that in every week or every day or every night, I have to video call my parents. So these are, the effect of the global pandemic right now, you see. So we're talking about Malacca, and I think it's similar with the other heritage zones or heritage properties in the world. we have this core zone and also buffer zone, kan? Core zone and also a buffer zone in any of the heritage asset or heritage area in the world. And I have to say that I'm living and or I'm my school or my primary school is in a buffer zone. It's located in a buffer zone of the Malacca UNESCO World Heritage Site, in which it is basically next or adjacent or next to the Jonker Strait. I think when I open my school's gate, it is basically facing the Jonker Strait. It's very adjacent. That is basically my primary school, and I was in a Chinese primary school. So my Chinese primary school is the oldest Chinese primary school in Malacca. While my high school is in Malacca High School. It is also located in the buffer zone as well. It is basically facing the Formosa, Malacca. So so I'm looking and observing the development or the changes of this heritage site. Yeah, you see. So even though I'm viewing a different view. In primary school, I have a different view of the heritage properties because of the Jonker Strait. It's a different core zone, a different area of the core zone. And of course, when I was in high school, it's a different view because I'm facing the Formosa. But I have a similar experience in both schools because we regularly accept or receive international tourists to our schools, because because of it's adjacent to the heritage of the core zone. And in fact, this is one of the prominent or the elder schools in Malaysia. My school in Malacca High School is the second eldest school in Malaysia after Penang Free School. Penang Free School was established, I think it's 1816, and my school was established in 1826, 10 years elder. So, so I'm very excited to share with you. This is the heritage site. Yeah, I'm living, I'm staying, and I'm growing up in this site. Yeah. All right. So our journey today is basically. So I'll bring you somehow to firstly look at the heritage. Is what is heritage is all about. You see, we want to know what is the international perspective on the heritage. What are the definitions on what are the concept of the heritage actually, and we would like to know what are the Malaysian context on this heritage. You see, that would be one of the agenda for today, and of course, and after that we will look into a specific site, which is a Malacca UNESCO World Heritage Site, and of course, I will share with you several case study that I did, with a simple research, simple studies pertaining to this site, and at last, at the end of the presentation, inshallah, I will show you and I will share with you some of the challenges and some of the initiative and recommendations that need to be done. Not only us as the community, but also to the authorities and the relevant authority, the relevant stakeholders as well. Yeah. So now we move on to the what is heritage is all about. Okay. Based on the UNESCO, heritage is our legacy from the past, what we live with today and what we pass on the future generations. So our cultural and natural heritage are both irreplaceable sources of life and inspirations. That is basically quoted from the UNESCO website, and also referring to some of the legal documentations or some of the legal instruments. Yeah, there's a series or numbers of resources there. It stated that, and they agreed, and some of them agreed and collectively define the heritage as the encompasses historical and cultural sites, natural sites and landscape, cultural property, as well as intangible heritage. So from these definitions, we can really conclude that this is, I think, it's good for our students as well to know. Heritage ni, we can say it is the main category. It's a mother category. Dia paling utama sekali. It's a main one. So in this heritage, it's split into two. We have the heritage, we have a cultural heritage and we have a natural heritage. So under this cultural heritage, we have two splitted another categories, which are intangible cultural heritage and also tangible cultural heritage. So we have, you got the view. So meaning to say, heritage is mother category. So in this heritage, we split it into two, natural and also cultural heritage. And this cultural heritage split it into intangible and also tangible. But natural heritage, you don't have that intangible and tangible. It's only for cultural heritage. Now, we move on to the Malaysia context. Yeah, in Malaysia, we have a specific act or specific regulations. Yeah, this is called National Heritage Act. Yeah, if you look at here, saya pun ada kat sini. National Heritage Act 2005, or basically known as the Act 645. Yeah, I usually pronounce or call this act as a 645 Act lah. Akta 645, and this act or these regulations somehow specifically spell out or discuss or identify some of the some of the things related to our national heritage. Yeah? It's either in terms of the governance, who should responsible for the preservation, what are the categories of the heritage, and those are the things. So it's very thick act. You can download it in one of the website, and we can purchase it in online right now for the Malaysian students. I think it costs you like 20 something ringgit only. It's very cheap, but it's good for you. It's good for your reference as well for these particular subjects. Yeah. So everything, even though because of we have in this heritage we have this act, so this become our main reference. We should become the main reference. Yeah. If let's say macam in a context of town and country planning, we have a specific act, ACTA Act. We call it as Act 172. It's a town and country planning act. So everything that we want to refer in terms of the glossary, the definitions and whatnot, it should be refer to that particular act. Okay. So based on this Act 645, so what is heritage? So heritage imports the generic meanings of a national heritage, sites, object, and underwater cultural heritage, whether listed or not in the register. So that is heritage under this Act 645. And what is heritage item? So heritage item refers to any national heritage or heritage site, heritage object, or underwater cultural heritage listed in the register. So we're talking about cultural heritages now. So what is cultural heritage? It includes, as I mentioned just now, it includes a tangible or intangible form of cultural property, a structure or artifact, and may include a heritage matter, whether it is an object, item, artifact, formation, structure, performance, dance, song, and so forth and so forth. Yeah, but of course it is exclude the natural heritage, because natural heritage have a different kind of definitions. It have a different kind of categories. Yeah. So as for today, we only focus on cultural heritage. So what is tangible cultural heritage is all about? It includes area, monument, or building, or something that we can touch. We can really, it's a physical object or physical elements or components. That is tangible cultural heritage. While intangible cultural heritage includes any form of expressions, languages, saying, musical notes, songs, oral traditions, poetry, music, dances, and those are talking about things that we cannot touch, but we can feel, we can enjoy, we can experience it, and that is cultural heritage. And that may have existed or exist in relation to the heritage of Malaysia or any part of Malaysia, or in relation to the heritage of a Malaysian community. So whether the intangible heritage property it can be found in the overall Malaysia, whether it is originally or it can be found in a certain region or certain state or a certain area of a Malaysia, or anything that relate to Malaysian community, and that is intangible cultural heritage. That's very interesting there. So what is natural heritage? Talking about the warisan kebangsaan, kan? So any heritage sites or heritage object underwater cultural heritage, or any living person declared as a national heritage under National Heritage Act 2005 in section 67. Okay, this is, you have to know that you really have to differentiate, because this afternoon I asked my student, to my postgraduate students, yeah, what is the difference between national heritage and also international recognitions, international recognized heritage? Both are different. National heritage is something, or heritage object or heritage properties, that has been declared, has been acknowledged in national level, in our government or federal government declared or acknowledged that and become a national. So not all the national heritage can be listed internationally. So that's very important. Yeah, because if you open the website of Badan Warisan, yeah, we can see a list of national heritage in Malaysia. I think it's more than 50. It's a long list, and of course, and not all the national heritage is acknowledged international level or particularly acknowledged by the UNESCO, because we have a process, and of course they have different categories on that. Yeah. So based on the National Heritage Act, Section 67, we can see that there are 9 criteria altogether in order for us to categorize, in order for us to acknowledge, or to decide whether this can be a national heritage or not. Yeah. So if you buy or if you have this kind of this copy, you can refer to Section 67, number 2. Yeah. So I have summarized it into this infographic. So let us look at the one by one, the criteria. The first criteria, and that heritage property need to have the elements of importance, associations with or relationship to Malaysian history. That's number 1, the first criteria. And the second criteria, the good design or aesthetic characteristic values. That's the second one. The third criteria, the scientific and technical innovations or achievement. The social or cultural association, that would be the fourth criteria. And next one is the potential to educate, illustrate, or provide further scientific investigation in relation to Malaysia's cultural heritage, and the importance in exhibiting a richness, diversity, or unusual integrations of features. That would be the 6th criteria. And the next criteria, it has to be unique of the natural heritage, whether it is tangible, intangible cultural heritage, or it is underwater cultural property. So the next one is the representative nature of a site or object as part of a class or type of a site or the object. And last but not least, the last criteria is any other matter which is relevant to be determined of cultural heritage significance. So if you fulfill, if that particular property fulfill this kind of a criteria, then it can be gazetted as a national heritage. Whether it doesn't matter whether it is intangible, whether it's a tangible, cultural, or it is a natural heritage. Yeah. Okay, so now I would like to bring you to give some awareness about the Malaysia heritage that has been listed in international recognitions. And before I would like to share the next presentation to show you what are the lists, I would like to ask our Malaysian students here, how many property or how many heritage sites that has been declared or has been acknowledged as the UNESCO World Heritage Site? Cuba teka. How many of it? Hello?
Okay, Malaysian student.
Oh, agak-agak berapa? How many of you? Because we have a long list of the national heritage, kan? So how many of it that has been declared?
I think 6.
6, okay, all right. Almost, okay. What else? Cuba teka. Just now my student answered 15, 15, okay, right. Wow, okay, 15. So what are those 6? Of course, Malacca and Penang. What else?
Gunung Mulu.
Gunung Mulu, okay, all right. Oh, is it? Are you sure, Gunung Mulu? Brother? You think so, Okay. All right, so, okay, thank you. So you're almost there. You think 6 or 5 or 10 or 7. So the correct answer is we have 4 properties or heritage properties that has been listed in UNESCO World Heritage List. I think this is some of the Malaysians, we don't know about this. I think this is important or crucial knowledge to all of us who specifically for those who are, for us that has been involved in a built environment, we really have to know about this. Yeah. So we have here, if you look at the map, we have the first one is Archaeological Heritage of Lenggong Valley, Perak. It is a cultural heritage that has been gazetted in 2012. It is located in Perak. And we also have Malacca and Georgetown. Yeah? The official name or terminology for this property of Malacca Penang is Malacca and Georgetown Historic Cities of the Straits of Malacca. That has been declared in 2008. And then we have there Gunung Mulu National Park, Sarawak. Is correct, brother? It is a Gunung Mulu. It is a natural heritage. Recently, or has been declared or inscribed in 2000. And of course, Kinabalu Park Sabah, Kota Kinabalu, our mountain, or the highest mountain in Southeast Asia, that is also inscribed in 2000. Let us look at the one by one. Yeah, the first one is Kinabalu Park. As I said, it is inscribed in 2000. The largest area, 75,000 hectares. Of course, the category is a natural and it fulfills some of the criteria. If you look at the UNESCO World Heritage Site or UNESCO website, in order for you to be listed in the UNESCO recognitions, it has to be fulfilled either in a 10 criteria. So either 1 or 2 criteria you need to be fulfilled. Yeah. So for the Kinabalu Park, it fulfilled a criteria number 9 and number 10. If I'm not mistaken here, because I have a list here, the selections of the criteria, but I'm not sure in the slide. Number 9 and number 10 is basically in which the Kota Kinabalu has this ecological and biological diversity. This is we cannot deny the fact that we have a good mountain or Kinabalu mountain that has excellent biodiversity. The richness of the biodiversity. Then Alhamdulillah in 2000, this would be the first national heritage that has been listed in the UNESCO. So this is Kota Kinabalu. And and next one is the Gunung Mulu National Park. It also listed in 2000. Also, it is a large area, cover 50,000 hectares in its category of a natural, and it fulfill I think 4 criteria. Number 7, 8, 9, and 10, and definitely it is a beautiful mountain. If you look at, I have yet to visit this Gunung Kinabalu yet, but if you look at the photos, you can see this is apa dia panggil Dr. Hanis, Dr. Hazard, it is a pinnacles, pinnacles on the top of the mountain.
Pinnacles, yes.
Pinnacles, yeah. It is a pinnacles on the top of the mountain. It's very beautiful. It is a Gunung Mulu National Park. In fact, the cave, I've read one article, it's a newspaper article, say that the cave, the size of the cave can fit our Boeing A-plane, the flight, you see? So it's very big and it's very huge cave size. So that is Gunung Mulu, one of the earliest national heritage that has been listed in UNESCO as well. So, and next one is Malacca and Georgetown cities, inscribed in 2008. And the category is cultural. Just now it's natural, and now it's a cultural, and it fulfill the criteria of number 2, 3, and number 4. So Malacca and Georgetown, they combine because it has a similar in terms of characteristic, physical, and also in terms of the social, the tangible, intangible components or assets, and then they submit together, and these 2 cities submit to the UNESCO, and Alhamdulillah, it successfully listed for both city, Malacca and Georgetown. And last but not least is our archaeological heritage of the Lenggong Valley. It is located in the Perak. Somehow it's quite big as well, 398 hectares almost. And it is a cultural heritage because it consists of, it's fulfilled the criteria number 3, in which it has a unique cultural tradition and also civilizations in the cave. Which is even though which has been disappeared. So these are the thing, one of the criteria that's fulfilled this property been listed. Yeah. If you look at the maps, and this is good for the Tunisia friends as well. If you're from Tunisia, you want to go for these heritage sites, you can easily from Tunisia flight to Kuala Lumpur International Airport, and from Kuala Lumpur International Airport you can fly directly to Sabah, Kota Kinabalu. If you want to enjoy the Kinabalu Park or the Kinabalu Mountain, just only a direct flight to Kota Kinabalu. And for the Mulu National Park, if I'm not mistaken, we don't have the direct flights from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, but I think you have to transit, you have to stop to airport, Miri Airport, and then you have to take a domestic flight directly to the Mulu Airport. Yeah. Mulu still have an airport, but it is a domestic purpose. So that is one of the transportation mode lah from Kuala Lumpur to Borneo. And for Perak, Penang and Georgetown, you can easily buy public transport or even you can drive. From Kuala Lumpur, it is only take 2 hours journey or drive to Malacca, and 3 hours drive to Penang, and of course 2 hours drive to Perak. But if you want to go by flight, definitely to Penang, you can you can fly by using from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, number 1, KLIA 1 or KLIA 2. In fact, in Selangor, we have 3 airports. Apart from this Kuala Lumpur International Airport 1 and 2, we also have a Subang Airport in Shah Alam or in Subang. So that is a domestic flight. So you can use the domestic flight from a Subang Airport to Penang, in fact to Malacca as well, because Malacca also have a domestic airport. Yeah, you can fly from Subang. So that would be some transportation mode lah, accessible access to those heritage sites. Yeah. So okay, that would be our okay. I would like to share with you here. It is also we have several Malaysian properties that has been submitted to UNESCO committee but have yet to declare as the UNESCO site at the moment. Kita masih menunggu. This is a waiting list lah, dia panggil. Kita masih lagi menunggu. If you look at the map, okay, we have here our national park, Taman Negara of Peninsular Malaysia. Okay, I think this is sangat popular lah, kan? Especially for our landscape architecture student. I think this is so so close with you. Our national park here, it is situated in the 3 states, kan? Pahang, Terengganu dan Kelantan. So 3 different states together that shared in Taman Negara. But it has been submitted in 2014 but have yet to receive any answers or any result from the international recognitions. And we also have here Royal Belum State Park. It is situated in Perak. We have submitted in 2017. Pun sama, we have yet to receive that. And for the Selangor, we have a 3 waiting list of the heritage property. And number 1, we have Freem Selangor Forest Park. It is a state park. It's a natural heritage, submitted in 2017. It's very close to our university. I think it's a 10-minute drive from our university. Very adjacent. It is in Kepong. And we have the Sungai Buloh Leprosarium. Leprosarium, it is submitted in 2007. Leprosarium ni, it is a hospital for leprosy patients. Leprosy apa? Dia penyakit kulit. Apa, Hazza and Hanis? In Malay they call penyakit kusta. Penyakit kusta, yes, penyakit kusta. Yeah, penyakit kusta. This is for the leprosy patients now. We hope that I have visited that once. It's a very old hospital, and for sure it has a reach of in terms of the heritage culture and heritage facade and heritage building or monuments there. Yeah, and also we have a Gombak Selangor Quartz Ridge. This is natural heritage submitted in 2017. Oh, this is very close to our campus, and of course we can somehow view the spectacular view of the Quartz Ridge. Yeah, in this from our university. It's very beautiful. Somehow I would say our Malaysian students can share our photos from the campus to our Tunisia friends as well after this. Yeah, so it's very nice. Reach adjacent to our campus, and we hope that it can be listed as the UNESCO World Heritage Site. And apart from that, in the Peninsular Malaysia, in one Borneo, we have one heritage property there. It is the Archaeological Heritage of Niah National Park Cave Complexerawa. It is in a category of natural and cultural heritage because it has 2 elements. Yeah, apart from the natural cave that we have, we also it also have this civilization. If I'm not mistaken, it is agriculture Paleolithic of civilizations there. So it is submitted recently in 2021. So we hope that it is also listed in the UNESCO. So we hope and we pray that the committee of the evaluations can approve the submission. And when we have the good thing about the UNESCO World Heritage List, it can give some good promotion to the tourists. so we can get high number of the tourist arrival. Of course, when the tourist arrival is high, so we can get a high expenditure pattern to the particular host destination, you see. So that is the benefits of having our heritage site or our national heritage to be declared as an international recognition, you see. All right, thank you. So, okay, apart from, alamak dah lama dah, berapa dah? 3, okay, right, 3.5. Now, apart from the tangible cultural heritage, we also have the intangible cultural heritage that has been declared or has been acknowledged by UNESCO. Ini, I'm sure that not all of us know about this. This I for sure. Even my students also do not know about this. Oh, Dr. Syakir, ada ke benda ni? Yes, ada. We have this intangible cultural that has been listed as UNESCO, and one of it is Mak Yong Theatre. Mak Yong Theatre has been acknowledged and declared in 2008, and it is a cultural dance and music. If you look at the explanations below, you can see this ancient theatre or Mak Yong, it's created by the Malaysian Malay communities, and it can be found in Kelantan, Kelantan, Terengganu, I think Kelantan. And Mak Yong is performed mainly as entertainment in the Royal Palace ceremony. Look at the attire, look at the shirts, look at the fashions, you know, it's colorful and full of beads, yeah. And of course the head apa dia panggil, dia punya kopiah itu, headgear also very nice, wonderful, yeah. So that is Mak Yong. So now you have to appreciate that we have a Mak Yong that is international recognized, yeah. So next is Dondang Sayang. Dondang Sayang, can be found in Malacca, only in Malacca. I love Dondang Sayang so much as well. You know, it has been inscribed in 2008. It is in the category of cultural music and poetry song. And during the Malacca Sultanate era in the 15th century, quite long ago, Dondang Sayang was performed at the Royal Palace ceremonies and events. Yeah, I think for our Tunisia friends, I think you really have to learn. You really have to listen to this Dondang Sayang, and of course you have to watch the theatre of Mak Yong. I think our Malaysian friends, I hope that the students can share some of the video clip from YouTube and whatnot to our Tunisia friends, so that they can know what is Dondang Sayang is all about and what is Mak Yong is all about. And of course, I love Dondang Sayang. Most of the ceremonies in Malacca, they have this Dondang Sayang, and most of the community in Malaysia, in Malacca, specifically Melayu lah, Malay communities, and also Peranakan communities, they know how to sing this Dondang Sayang. Dondang Sayang, kan? So next is Silat. Silat is inscribed in 2019. It is somehow, it's an art of self-defense, yeah. Silat is a combative art of self-defense, a survival rooted in the Malay archipelago. So you know, if China have this Tai Chi, apa lagi dia ada? They have Kung Fu, that's in China. In Japan, we have, there's a number of martial arts there. We have karate. Japan, they have judo. They have apa lagi? Sumo. They have this aikido, kan? So like Thailand, they have a Muay Thai. Malaysia, we have a Silat, and of course, we have several Silat groups, and we have a different kind of Silat. And Alhamdulillah, and Silat has been recognized as one of the heritage property intangibly in the world. So Alhamdulillah for that. And this is Pantun, and surprisingly, Pantun is also one of our intangible property and also internationally recognized. 2020 last year, it is one of the Pantun, is one of the poetry. If you look at the descriptions there, Pantun is a form of Malay verse used to express ideas and emotions. It is most widespread oral form in the maritime Southeast Asia and has been used in many parts of the region for at least 500 years. Very long ago, Pantun, kan? So Pantun has a clear AB rhythm scheme. If you look at the Pantun here, there's an example of the Pantun. The first Pantun here, look at the last sentence or last word. Kumbang, it has a NG, and the third sentence is NG as well. And look at the second sentence is RI, and the last sentence is RI. So it is
the rhyme.
The rhyme.
It is called the rhyme, yeah?
Yeah, it's a rhyme. Rhyme. AB rhyme. So that is that is the Pantun. If you look at here, below here, it is a nice Pantun that I take from Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka. Petang-petang bunyi lesung, orang menumbuk padi jawi petang-petang ingat kampung like now and hendak balik orang tak bagi kan. So that is the beautiful of pantun. In fact, if you look at the below pictures here, ni dipanggil apa? Merisik. It is merisik. It is a proposal discussion, a proposal ceremony before a wedding between these two families. You see, so basically the communications of that ceremony or discussion, usually they have this pantun. In fact, the pantun has been practiced or in every ceremony or assembly, even in the school, even in our official gathering, a wedding and whatnot, we need to have, of course, we have a pantun. Even either it is in the beginning of the speech or of the wedding or of a ceremony, or at the end of a wedding or of a ceremony, that is pantun. So we are very grateful to have this pantun as our international heritage. And last but not least, it is it's a very long term here. It is an Ong Chun, Wang Chuan, and Wang Kang ceremony. It is a rituals and related practices for maintaining a sustainable connections between man and the oceans. This is for a Chinese community. It is a ritual ceremony. The Ong Chun ceremony and related practices are rooted in the folk customs of worshipping the Ongya and belief to protect people and their lands from disasters. This is a belief from the Chinese community or the Buddhists. And of course, we need to somehow grateful that this is one part of our national heritage and has been inscribed in the international level. So now I hope that every one of you, even though especially our students, now you know that what are the heritage property that has been listed in the UNESCO tangibly, and also we also have this intangible heritage property as well and recognized internationally. Okay, now we move on to our specific site, Malacca UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, if you look at the map, the locations of the map, okay, Malacca is one of the 14 states in Malaysia that is located in the southern part or southwestern coast of Peninsular Malaysia, and it is between the states of Johor and also Negeri Sembilan. If you look at the distance, Kuala Lumpur is somehow, it's quite near from Malacca. It's only 2 hours journey or 2 hours drive from Kuala Lumpur. And of course, if you look at the Singapore, from Singapore, it can, 2 hours drive from Singapore to Malacca. And if you look at the Malacca somehow, and most of the international tourists from Singapore, when they go to Kuala Lumpur, when they visit to Kuala Lumpur, they will somehow transit to Malacca for a while. It's either a half day transit, or perhaps they will stay a one night in Malacca for before they start to before they go or depart to Kuala Lumpur. So it is very grateful that Malacca has a very strategic locations there. In fact, I would like to share with you that Malacca has reached in terms of the ethnic group. We are the only state, Malacca, that has more than 3 different ethnic groups. Apart from Malay, like me, Chinese and Indians, we also have this peranakan Baba Nyonya, peranakan Chetty, and also the Portuguese, or we call it as Serani. Peranakan Baba and Nyonya ni, it is it's similar. They are somehow, it's like Chinese, but they do not know how to speak Chinese at all. They do not know how to speak Mandarin at all. Their mother tongue is Malay or English. They can just speak Malay. And in fact, same goes to Peranakan Chetty as well. They do not know how to speak Tamil. I think a little bit about Tamil, but their mother tongue is the Malay. They love to talk about Malay. In fact, they love to wear sarong, kind of plikat in the house as well. And in fact, in my high school, I have my classmates. I have those ethnic groups. I have friends as a Nyonya, Peranakan. I have a Chetty friends classmate and also Serani classmate as well. In fact, the Baba Nyonya, they do not know how to speak Mandarin. In fact, their language, Malay language, also different from Malay. They punya baku style. They punya essence. They're very unique. So I think that's only can be found in Malacca in terms of the ethnic groups. So talking about Malacca UNESCO World Heritage Site, as I mentioned earlier, on July 7, 2008, it has been inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site by the name of the Malacca and Georgetown historic sites, historic cities of the Straits of Malacca, share with the Georgetown, Penang, kan? So if you look at the criteria of UNESCO heritage sites, Malacca, it represents the multicultural trading towns in East and Southeast Asia with a period of almost 500 years, and it represents a living example of the multicultural heritage of Asia and European colonial influences. And Malacca reflects the unique architecture and urban design. So these are the three criteria that has been, that successfully listed them as international recognition. And of course, we're talking about the heritage site. As I explained just now, we have two zones, core zone and also a buffer zone. As I mentioned and explained it here, the core zone of Malacca UNESCO Heritage Site consists of 45 hectares that comprises of two areas. Kita ada first area in the southern part of here, it is St. Paul's Hill Civic Zone, and the upper part is commercial. Second area is a historic residential and commercial zone, yeah. Dekat atas sikit, it's above upper side of the core zone. And of course, the buffer zone is quite large. It covers 285 hectares. And of course, in terms of the land uses, it covers combined by the residential, commercial, institution, and also cultural uses. When you ask where is my school, and definitely here, if you look at my cursor here, this is my school, primary school. It's facing apa nama tu, Jonker Street, and this is my high school. It is facing the Ep4. So I'm very grateful to watch the growth of these heritage cities or heritage zone. All right. Okay, now we concentrate on the core zone of the first area. Okay, the St. Paul's Hill Civic Zone. This is basically the name of this zone, kan? St. Paul's Hill Civic Zone ni, it is decided by the UNESCO. We call it St. Paul's Hill Civic Zone. And this is conceived of three era. We have a Malacca Sultanate era in 15th century. We have some of the elements or monuments there. And we also have Portuguese colonization era from 1511 until 1641. And also a Dutch colonization era from 1641 until 1824. Now we look at the landmarks. So these are some of the landmarks in this area, in which number one, you can see the State House of Malacca. This is a Dutch building. If you look at this is number one, it is adjacent or next to the river, or Malacca River. It is a nice place from a Dutch, this is a Dutch building. And of course, number two, at the southern part of the area, we have this Malacca Sultanate Palace. It is only a replica, yeah. So, and adjacent or next to the palace, it is a Famosa or St. Paul's Hills. That is a Portuguese fortress gate, the only gates that left now. Okay, Famosa. Okay, right. That's basically the core zone. And now we move on to the second area. The upper side of the core zone, which is the historic residential and commercial zone, and it includes more than 600 shop houses, residential, commercial, and religious building, as well as the mausoleums. Kita ada dia panggil makam, tombs there. And the main land use composition is the commercial and services. In fact, based on the local authorities, Majlis Bandaraya Melaka Bersejarah or Malacca Historic City Council, it has been zoned this commercial or services as a special commercial, or known as a perdagangan khas. Okay, there are several landmarks or activities there in that particular zone. And number one, we have a Jonker Street. It is situated along the road, yeah, here, number one. And of course, number two, it is a Baba Nyonya Heritage Museum and Hotel. It is located number two here. It's a living museum, and it is a very nice boutique hotel as well. I've stayed there for one night. It's quite, even though it's quite expensive, but I think it's a good experience, because even though it is I think it's less than 10 rooms there, but every room have a different kind of setting, have a different kind of interior that reflects the Peranakan arts, Peranakan culture. And number three, we have a Cheng Hun Teng Temple. It is situated in Jalan Tukang Emas, I'm not mistaken here. And we also have landmarks. We have a masjid, Kampung Keling, that's situated in number 4. That is in Jalan Harmony. And we have two mausoleum, Kang Kasturi and Hang Jebat. This is our Malay warriors those days in 15th century. That is a Hang Kasturi, it is located here, and also Hang Jebat, it is located in number 6 here. So this is the beauty and some of the landmark in the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Yeah. So now I would like to bring you to specifically to the Jalan Hang Jebat, or basically known as the Jonker Strait. Yeah. And this this site comprises of the shop houses. It's a double-story unit owned by Peranakan and also the Chinese community. So since the Dutch period, the area has been used as a residential and commercial activities. In fact, it consists of several different Chinese clans, associations, or mansions there, like Hokkien mansions. We have a Tan or Li mansions there as well, because we know that most of the local community there, it's a Chinese community. And of course, every Saturday and Sunday night, Jalan Hang Jebat is turned into a pedestrianized zone for the Jonker Walk night market. Okay, so in terms of tourism activities, we can find several tourism activities there. Of course, shopping, souvenirs, fashion boutiques here, and we also have several numbers of accommodations or hotels or budget hotels or even a boutique hotels in that particular street as well. And we can find a number of cafe and restaurants for local cuisine or local foods in that particular Jonker Straits. Yeah. And then we also, this is basically some of the tourism facilities. We have a pedestrian facility, some of the urbanscapes, yeah, in the Jonker Strait. I think kudos, I would like to thanks to the local authorities and Malacca Historic City Council that provide or prepare or design a good urbanscape in this core zone, yeah, not only in Jalan Hang Jebat, not only in Jonker Strait, but the overall area of the core zone. I think it has been beautified by urbanscapes and also the landscape. A very nice zone actually. Yeah, thank you to City Council. And of course, this is one of the photos that reflect or illustrate some of the facades. A very nice building facade that you can be found in the not only in Jalan Hang Jebat, some in any streets at the core zone. Or the second area. All right. I need to speed to the pumpat. So okay, now in the Jonker Walk night market, this is basically you can found in every Saturday and Sunday. I think I have a study in terms of the tourist pattern or tourist behavior, and I can found that most of the international tourists, especially of Singapore, they will transit on Saturday or Sunday. Perhaps in the morning they will depart from Singapore morning and they will stop by in Malacca for lunch. You know, they will stay overnight, and of course they will somehow visit this night market that start at 6 p.m. and end at 12 a.m. So I really enjoy it. So this is somehow quite one of the popular destinations in Malaysia as well. Yeah. So we can find some of the tourism product and services in this street, and mostly Chinese punya community that provide this kind of tourism product and services. Yeah, and I would like to bring you here. It is also Jalan Harmoni. It is adjacent to the Jalan Jonker Strait. If you look at in the photos, this is a Jonker Strait, Jalan Hang Jebat, while this is basically Jalan Harmoni. So Jalan Harmoni, those days they call it as Jalan Tukang Besi, but recently they have changed to Jalan Harmoni because if I want to bring you here, because it consists of several religious buildings that sitting or standing side by side. Along this route, we can find one Buddhist temple or Chen Hung temple, and also we have a Masjid Kampung Keling here as well. And adjacent to it, it is a temple or Hindu temple. If you look at the photos here below ni, yang bawah sekali ni, it is masjid and the Indian temple is sitting or standing side by side. So look at that, how harmony we are. Is it? Even I've been here, regularly juga. Sometimes I still remember when I visited here, there's a one situation in which the masjid have this recitation, Quran recitation. At the same time, the Indian temple, they have some ritual recitation as well. Even though we are still respect to each other. And this is what call it is harmony. This is the uniqueness of Malaysia, yeah. Even though in our surah, I think it's surah Al-Kafirun kan, Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun, and this surah, it is stated that we need to respect different religions. Your religion is your religion, my religion is my religion. Yeah, we have to respect. I have to respect your religion, and of course, in turns, you have to respect my religion as well. Even though we are different religions, but somehow I think Jalan Harmoni, it's proof, and it is an evidence for us to live in the different, multicultural, multi-races, multi-religious, but we can live happily and harmoniously. So Jalan Harmoni is the best example to reflect the peaceful of our Malaysia. All right. So if you have time, you can visit the Jalan Harmoni. Okay. Now we move on to a bit serious findings that relate to my case study, my research, a short research about the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, so the first one is a tourist expenditure pattern. You want to ask how much the tourists spend actually in the heritage site. Yeah, so most of the research out there, we can see that most of the tourists, they will spend a bit, a bit higher in a heritage site because you can spend a lot for shopping. In fact, the hotels a bit higher because there's a boutique hotels and whatnot. In fact, I think Kyoto is the best example for the heritage site. So let us look at the results. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to go details, but after all, the sampling size I got is 1,500 among the domestic international tourists, and the result is like this. If you look at the table below here, okay, what a surprise, yeah, here. Somehow the actual expenditure among these 1,500 respondents or the tourist average is somehow lower as compared to their expected budget or expenditure. It's like 305. It's like it is ringgit Malaysia. Somehow, the average of the respondents or the tourists, their budget or the expected. Oh, okay. If I visit Malacca, I will spend like 300 ringgit. But unfortunately, or I would say fortunately, when they do some expenditure, spending in the Malaysia in the site, and they found that they only spend lower than 200 ringgit. So from a perspective of the tourists, it is a good one because it one to shows that Malacca is one of the cheapest destinations in Malaysia. But if you look at the other side of the coins, as a community, somehow we would like to ask whether can the community get the benefits or get the profit from it? So that's another question, is it? So if you look at the table at the top of the slide, this would be the pattern of the tourist expenditure: accommodation, food, beverage, shopping, entertainment, and transportation. So if you look at for Malacca UNESCO Heritage Site, the tourists spend a little bit higher for the accommodations. We know that, as I said, the hotel will be a bit higher, a bit expensive, because I know it is a boutique hotels. In fact, additionally, we have to add the heritage tax. I think 5% of the heritage tax need to be included in that kind of a price for accommodations. That's why it's a bit higher. And food, beverage, and shopping, somehow it fall under second and third categories. And of course, transportation, entertainment, it will be a least sector for tourists to spend. It is somehow different from our Malaysia or national tourist expenditure, in which in the Malaysia context, average tourists will spend more in the shopping sector. Shopping sector dekat Malaysia, average is be the main sector lah yang people spend. But for Malacca, specifically for the site, the tourists spend a little bit higher in the accommodation sector. Yeah. So it also surprised that the respondents spend a bit less in the food and beverage shopping. When I got the survey, I can found that several response from the respondent, and surprisingly they state that why they not spend so much in the shopping, because number one, okay, this is very surprising, yeah? Because some of the product and some of the tourism product, it is not locally made. It is not made in Malacca, or it is not made in Malaysia, but it is imported from other countries. So somehow the tourists are quite sad and disappointed of it. In most of the, you can find some of the kitchen and some of the souvenirs is you can see the label lah, made in China. Even though the traditional the traditional bag ke apa, the handicraft is still not from a local made. So it's quite surprised. So that's why the tourists not spend so much in this area, because they cannot find, or it's hardly found, the local product or local handicraft, even though we have that actually, but somehow it is not highlighted, it is not promoted and sold in this site. So quite sad about that. So that would be the issue. So this will be the case, the second case study in terms of the local economic benefits. Then we ask, how much the local community benefited from this heritage site? Are they get the profit from these tourism sectors in Malacca? Now, okay, this will be the findings. I would like to just summarize the findings. For the entertainment, surprisingly, 99.8% of the non-local community got the benefit. I mean, only 0.2% of the local community got the benefit from entertainment. Because of, I think Dr. Hazard and Dr. Hanis will agree with me, we somehow, it's hardly to find cultural performances or cultural dance or even intangible cultural there within the UNESCO site, you know. So if you want to refer, or if you want to compare with one of the destinations in Indonesia, like Bali, for example, oh my God, in every restaurants and every hotels, they have a cultural performances. You know, somehow we need to pay lah. Of course, it has been added in the accommodations receipt and whatnot. But of course, they have these performances. In fact, there's a certain specified venue in Uluwatu that serve this kicap dance, kan? It involves, I think, more than 100 dancers or local dancers to perform. And I think the tourist arrivals there were superb. I think more than 100 for one performance. I think I've been there in 2004. I think with Dr. Hazar, kan? Dr. Hazar, we got together to Bali to watch. Dah kantoi dah kat situ. So well,
we went with the team. We went with the
team to observe. I mean, to watch this performance. So, but none of these cultural performance can be found in this heritage Malacca, you know, within the boundary. So it's very sad about that. Even though we have this Dondang Sayang lah, we have Zapin on those kind of a dance and so kita ada those performances, but it's not utilized. Very sad there. So that would be the issues, the challenges lah in entertainment sector. All right, for the comedy sector, Alhamdulillah, I think it is a good to see and to listen that 97.7% of the local community got the benefits from these tourism activities, because we know that most of the boutique hotels is owned by the local community. It is owned by the Peranakan, owned by the Chinese community. In fact, the budget hotels in the most of the buffer zone, it also owned by our local Malay, Chinese, and also Indians. So, and it's good to say that 97.7% got directly profit from this tourist expenditure. Alhamdulillah. So for the shopping sector, 85.6%, even though just now we say that the tourists spend less in the shopping sector, but we have to admit that most of the shops, most of the souvenirs venues or units or shop lots is owned by the local community. So surprisingly, 85.6% is a local community. Alhamdulillah. But 44%, I have these two respondents out of 3,500. I have these two respondents. I just like to share with you this international respondent. They spend, because in that core zone we have the Hard Rock Cafe. It is situated in the middle of the heritage zone. They spend more than 100 ringgit. It is what? More than $400 spent for the UNESCO, for the Hard Rock souvenirs in Hard Rock Cafe Malacca. So more than 1,000. If you look at the keychain, kan, kalau kita lihat the souvenirs in Malacca, in Jonker Street, somehow 10 ringgit you can get what, 3 or 5 keychains and fridge magnet as well. So very cheap. But as compared to Hard Rock Cafe, somehow it is international chain of souvenir shops. That's why we cannot say that this is local community, or we cannot say that this profit it is owned or directly benefited the local community. In terms of transportations, unfortunately, only 18.5% got the benefits from the transportation sector, because we have to admit that the heritage zone, it is a pedestrian friendly zone. You know, you can access it by using, walking. and most of the tourists, they will use their vehicle, private vehicle. They can park there are several parking spaces in the buffer zone. So that's why no one use the public transport, even though we have a trishaw, beca or trishaw. I think I'm not tak letak kat sini, I'm not putting here the photos. I think our Malaysian students can share with our Tunisia friends our trishaw. Trishaw, it's a local bicycle. It's bicycle, it's like a trishaw lah, and dipanggil beca. So yes, beca, it is 100% locally owned by our local community, but somehow some of the tourists did not use the trishaw lah, kan. Ni. Alright, so last but not least, in terms of food beverages, even though we look at the 43.2% of the local community not get the benefit, but somehow it has a slightly difference between the non-local community, because we have to admit that in the heritage zone we have several international chain restaurants. Yeah, for example, we have a McDonald's, of course. Hard Rock Cafe is the most apa nama dia, attractions for dining. And of course, if you look at the chart here, we can see some of the local hawkers or local restaurants also spend more by the tourists. For example, we have a Famusa chicken rice ball, we have Asam Pedas, Ruhana restaurants, whatnot. In fact, I think, yes, I have to agree that Malacca is one of the cheapest cheapest destination, because in fact 10 ringgit you can get a set of lunch, yeah, with a rice, with we call asam pedas. It's a spicy soup, and also with a very popular syrup or apa syrup, ice syrup, kan? It's a rose syrup water drink that can cost you like 10 ringgit or 15 ringgit. It's very cheap. So this is the summary of the findings. We can say that good to see or to know that the tourist expenditure spent higher in accommodations and totally got the benefit from the local economy, local community. And for the shopping sector, even though the tourists spend less, and we know other issues because we don't really know because of the hardly to get the local product, and also locally owned or locally made the product. But Alhamdulillah, we got somehow direct benefits from to the local community. In the entertainment and transportation sector, it's quite sad, in which the tourists spend less in that particular sector, and the economy and the community also benefit less in these sectors as well. And the food beverages, even though the tourists spend more in this sector, but however, we need to somehow improve and enhance a little bit, so then the community can get a bit higher as compared to international chain restaurants. Yeah. So that will be the second case study just now. And the third case study, or the last case study, we're talking about the local community involvement in Kampung Malacca and Kampung Moten. So Kampung Moten, it is a heritage village in Malacca that is somehow, it's quite not very far from a heritage zone. It is a 6-minute drive from heritage zones to Kampung Moten, and in fact, it can access by walking to the riverfront. It's only 20 minutes walk. In fact, when I go back to my hometown, I will park my car at the Kampung Moten because I have a friends in Kampung Moten. I will park my car here. Sometimes with my parents, and we walk throughout this riverfront until the coast zone, and of course we make a U-turn and go back again to the Kampung Moten. So in like 20 minutes, I think 1 hour to complete our marathon, yeah, between from Kampung Moten and Heritage Zone. Of course, if you look at the Kampung Moten map here, it is basically next or adjacent to the Sungai Melaka or Malacca River, and it is adjacent or surrounded by several high or tallest building. Yeah, we have the Pines Hotel and also the Shore Sky Tower. The Shore Sky Tower, it is the tallest building in Malacca. Now we look at this would be the view of the Kampung Moten. So Kampung Moten is a traditional Malay situated in the middle of the Malacca city, but it is outside of the heritage site. So the populations of 600 with 80 traditional houses and next to the river, Malacca River. And the Malacca state government in 1988 gazettement has declared the village as a traditional Malay heritage village, and this recognition was under the Malacca State's Preservation and Conservation Cultural Heritage Enactment of 1980. And look at the photos, yeah, you can see that the building, the Shaw Tower, it is next to the Kampung Moten. So this is talking about the grant, the government incentive to the Kampung Moten community for the beautifications program, yeah, in terms of the renovation, in terms of the structure, walls, windows, roof, and also the stairs. And it is also the city council also provide the steel railing, yeah, to ensure the safety among the villagers and also the visitors. You know, look at the view, so nice and so beautiful. And in fact, this is also one of the incentive by the state government to ensure the beautifications in this Kampung Moten. Look at the roof and look at the landscape, yeah, in this Kampung Moten. And this is also one of the incentive, the grant provided by the state government in terms of installations of the light, LED lights, yeah, on the rooftop of the 80 units of the houses. All units of the houses installed by this kind of LED to somehow to make sure that this Kampung Moten is beautiful, even though it's at night. Yeah. So this is somehow some of the photos. Yeah, beautiful view of the Sungai Malacca next to the heritage village. This is a river cruise that we can see. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, it is surrounded by the urbanization, and you can see this is a tourist monorail in Malacca, and also the tallest building in Malacca as well. It's basically adjacent to the Kampung Moten. It is only across the Kampung Moten. It is a night view. Look at that. It's very beautiful. And this is somehow the different photos, but in the same kampung, in the same village, in the same units of house, during the day and also at night. Yeah. Okay. Right. So this will be the findings. You look at the components. And it is surprisingly to say that 15% of the community did not participate or did not involve with the tourism planning, whether giving opinion even in the public participations of the heritage side. So it is quite surprised, very sad to have this 15% of the population. We're supposed to have 100% of the populations need to involve in this early stage of the tourism planning or city planning. And 1% of the populations or the community invest or did not invest in the tourism activities, and 30% of them do not involve in any tourism businesses, even though it is a part-time as a business or owners. I think the community of 80 houses, they need to take this opportunity, even though because tourism industry is in front of you, you see. But of course, you need to grab this opportunity and involve, even though not big, but small portions of the sector, but okay, doesn't matter. So then we can really, so we have the connections between the community and also the heritage property that we have, yeah. And out of the 70% that involved in the tourism businesses, 91.5% spend more than 40 hours. Okay, and in terms of the benefits, I can see that 33% was not benefited economically from the tourism business. It was that 30% is quite a huge number of it. Only 70%, about 70 or 67% get the benefits economically from the tourism industry. Okay, in terms of this in terms of this 67%, only 49%. Oh no, sorry. Out of this 33%, 49% did not saving from the profit. I think this should be done lah. If you got the profit, you got the benefits from this tourism industry, tourism activities, you need to do a saving for your own future as well. So I think this is some of the findings we can see, we can find. So this will be the list of the challenges. I just skip a little bit because I just read through about the challenges. Of course, in terms of the community awareness, there's no much, I think that less awareness among the communities in terms of they don't know what is the responsibility, what is their functions, in safeguarding or in preserving the heritage properties. I think that would be the issues, yeah. There's a research in Luang Prabang. In Luang Prabang, it has a good, it has a wonderful heritage properties, and more than 90% of the community involved directly with the tourism industry, and they have a great and excellent awareness in terms of preserving and safeguarding and how to improve and to make sure that their heritage is sustainable. So still have the issues on that, students, not only the community but also some of the stakeholders, the authorities, some of the NGOs need to play role as well in terms of the awareness. Yeah, and the second challenge that we have is the low local economic benefits from the tourist spending. As I mentioned earlier, in entertainment sector, that is the prominent sector in which we have the intangible. We actually have the intangible assets, as I said, Dondang Sayang and whatnot, but we don't really use it as for the tourism sector. That's why we cannot gain so much in economic for this sector. And the next one is competitions with foreign businesses and franchise. I think this is a normal challenge. There's normal struggles all around the world in which the local community or local businesses have to fight and struggle with the foreign or international franchise. For example, just now I said McDonald's or even Hard Rock Cafe. Of course, the local hawkers or local restaurants have to compete compete with this international franchise that is basically well known internationally. Authenticity of the tourism product, as I mentioned before, we have the issues of this local tourism product. We need to do something, even though the local product or the local entrepreneurship, the local entrepreneurs are situated somehow far away from the heritage site, even though it's a different district. So we need to somehow connect, this linkage. So the authorities need to play the role, to ensure that our local product, our souvenirs, our handicraft can be promoted or can be bought by the international tourists. Yeah. So the last one, the local entrepreneurs is far from the heritage site and hardly to access the tourists. In terms of this is talking about tourism linkages, as I mentioned just now, far from away from heritage site, so they are very difficult to access the tourists. So in terms of initiative, there's a list of initiatives there. So of course, number one, raising awareness and education among the community. Of course, I think the authorities need to do something about it. Yeah, I think we need to collaborate with the community, of course, the local community. I think, and we have to admit that the cohort of the age nowadays is these young generations. Of course, the young generations would have a different kind of approach. They play with the social media. So I think the authorities need to smartly design the way or the approach on how to engage with these youngsters. So then the education, the awareness can be increased. So they know how to appreciate, they know how to preserve the national heritage that we have, you see. So secondly is the support the local businesses in terms of incentive, intensive training and short courses to uplift some of the knowledge among the local businesses. And of course, we need to enhance the marketing and promotion plans of the local business and services. Yeah. And the last one, the third one is the public participation with a new fresh approach. I said it's related to the first one just now with a new and fresh approach. Yeah? Social media, no more the round table discussion. Maybe it's not suitable anymore. As what the Ecomo said, the heritage conservation cannot be sustained at all without the community participation. So here, community participation is a key to make sure that the heritage site is protected further. And the fourth one is understanding and input for the authorities. Yes, the authorities need to be supplied by the professional or specific or correct agencies, organizations to ensure that the authorities can make a good decisions making, and based on a certain act and regulation. Of course, it has to be follow a parallel of the international or national code or policies. Yeah, so we need to give inputs. We need to help and assist the authorities, definitely. And the next one is the partnership among the local operators and entrepreneurs. Yes, the local businesses, the local entrepreneurs from different sectors, whether you are accommodations, food, beverages, entertainment, transportations, or even shopping, they really have to collaborate and engage to each other. I think Bali is the best example as well. They have, even though, because when we visit, check in to the hotel, we can see they have their own perhaps they can promote, they suggest us, oh, this is the good food or the good restaurants, a local restaurant, or this is the place that you can buy the souvenirs, a local souvenirs, or this is the supir or transportations, we have this rate and kind of thing. So this, they have this package, they have this communications, very good communications among themselves. I think this we need to collaborate, and among the local entrepreneurs need to collaborate the kind of efforts. Yeah. And last but not least, the intangible heritage need to be highlighted. Of course, it need to be promoted. We have the Dondang Sayang. We have a person that is very passionate about Dondang Sayang in Malacca, but we need to promote them. Yeah, we need to highlight them. We need to have this performance within this heritage site. It cannot be hidden. It cannot be somehow showed in the YouTube or in the video. It needs to be physically existed or performs in this heritage site. So with that, I think I would like to end my slide presentations with a pantun. So kalau ada umur di ladang, boleh saya tumpang mandi. Kalau ada umur panjang, boleh kita berjumpa lagi. So with that, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.